My name is Harper Chen, and 6 months ago, I had a home, a future, and a mother who loved me. Now I'm sleeping in my car and showering at the YMCA. You're probably wondering how a 22-year-old college graduate ends up homeless. The answer is simple: greed. "Hey guys, check this out," a voice called across the community center parking lot. "I found us some entertainment." I looked up from organizing donated clothes to see Brandon Westfield pointing at me, his designer sneakers probably worth more than everything I owned. 3 of his friends laughed as they approached. "What's your name, sweetheart?" Brandon asked, pulling out his phone. "I'm doing a social media series on inspiring homeless people. You know, show my followers how the other half lives." "I'm not interested," I said, continuing to fold clothes. "Come on, don't be shy. This could be your big break. I'll even tag you. Oh, wait, you probably don't have a phone, do you?" His friends erupted in laughter. "Brandon, leave her alone," one of them said half-heartedly. "I'm trying to help her, Tyler. Isn't that what we're here for? Charity?" Brandon moved closer, still filming. "So what's your story? Drugs? Bad decisions? Let me guess. You thought you could make it as an artist?" I stood up slowly, meeting his eyes. My story is that my mother built a tech company from nothing. She had a business partner she trusted. That partner's family stole everything after she died of cancer last year. They manipulated contracts, forged documents, and left me with nothing. That's my story. Brandon's smirk faltered for just a second. "Sure, sweetheart. Everyone's got a sob story." "Brandon Westfield!" A woman's voice cut through the parking lot like a whip. An elegant woman in her 50s rushed toward us, her face pale. She grabbed Brandon's arm, her eyes fixed on me with an expression I couldn't read. Shock? Guilt? Fear? "Mom, what are you doing here?" Brandon lowered his phone. "I thought you were at the spa." "Harper?" the woman whispered, ignoring her son. "Harper Chen?" I stared at her, recognition slowly dawning. "Mrs. Westfield? You know this homeless girl, Mom?" Brandon laughed. "This is too good." "Shut up, Brandon." Margaret Westfield's voice shook. "Go wait in the car. Now." "But Mom, now!" Brandon and his friends scattered like cockroaches when the lights turned on. Margaret approached me slowly, tears streaming down her perfectly made-up face. "I didn't know," she said. "Harper, I swear, I didn't know what Robert and Brandon did until 3 months ago. I've been trying to find you. Your mother, Jennifer, she was my best friend." "Your husband stole my mother's company," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "He waited until she was too sick to fight back. Then he had her declared mentally incompetent. He forged her signature on documents transferring her shares to him. She died thinking she'd secured my future." Margaret's hand flew to her mouth. "I found the documents. In Robert's safe. I didn't want to believe." "Believe it, Mrs. Westfield. Your family destroyed mine." "Please, call me Margaret, and please, let me help make this right. I have copies of everything. The real contracts, the forgeries, all of it. I've been consulting with lawyers, but I couldn't do anything without finding you first." I wanted to tell her to leave, that it was too late, that her guilt couldn't fix anything. But I was tired, so tired. "Why should I trust you?" I asked. Margaret pulled out a business card. "This is my personal attorney, David Morrison. He's been helping me build a case. Everything I've found, every document, every recording, it's yours. Your mother saved my life once, Harper. Let me return the favor for her daughter." 3 days later, I sat in David Morrison's downtown office, feeling out of place in my thrift store clothes. Margaret sat beside me, squeezing my hand. "Ms. Chen," David said, sliding a thick folder across his desk. "What was done to you and your mother was criminal fraud. With Margaret's evidence and your testimony, we can file both civil and criminal charges against Robert and Brandon Westfield." "What kind of evidence do we have?" I asked. Margaret leaned forward. "I'll tell you everything. About a year ago, I noticed Robert spending a lot of time with Brandon, teaching him the business. They'd have private meetings in his study. I thought he was just grooming Brandon to take over one day." "When did you realize something was wrong?" David asked. 3 months ago. I found a key to Robert's private safe in his jacket pocket. I'd never been allowed in that safe before. Margaret's voice hardened. I opened it one night when he was traveling. Inside were the original partnership agreements between Robert and Jennifer Chen, showing a 50-50 split of Chen Westfield Technologies. I felt my stomach drop. 50-50? But my mother told me she owned 60%. "She did, initially," Margaret said, but these documents showed Robert had convinced her to restructure to 50-50 5 years ago, supposedly for tax purposes. Then I found the forged documents from last year, the ones showing she'd signed over her entire share to Robert because of diminished mental capacity. "The forgeries are obvious," David added. "The signatures don't match, the notary stamps are fake. Robert got sloppy because he didn't think anyone would ever look." "There's more," Margaret continued. "I found recordings. Robert kept voice memos on his phone, and they automatically backed up to our shared cloud. He recorded himself coaching Brandon on what to say if anyone ever questioned the transaction." David played one of the recordings. Robert's voice filled the room. "Brandon, listen carefully. If anyone asks about Jennifer Chen, you say she was mentally unstable for years. You say she was paranoid, made bad decisions, that she begged us to take over. You say it was an act of kindness. Got it?" Brandon's younger voice responded. "Got it, Dad. And what about the daughter?" "Harper? She's nobody. No resources, no connections. By the time she figures out what happened, we'll have restructured everything. She can't touch us." I closed my eyes, hearing them plot my destruction like I was nothing more than an inconvenience. "Harper," Margaret's voice was gentle. "Are you okay?" "Play the rest," I said. David continued the recording. Brandon spoke again. "What if she tries to sue?" "With what money?" Robert laughed. "Legal fees alone would bankrupt her in a month. And even if she found a lawyer willing to work pro bono, we'll bury her in motions and delays. She'll give up eventually. They always do." "That's where they miscalculated," David said, stopping the recording. "Margaret's been paying my retainer. And I don't lose, Ms. Chen. Ever." "What's our next step?" I asked. "We file criminal charges with the district attorney," David explained. "Fraud, forgery, elder abuse, theft. Simultaneously, we file a civil suit to recover your mother's assets and damages." "How long will this take?" "With this evidence? Not long. I've already had preliminary conversations with the DA's office. They're very interested." Margaret pulled out another folder. "I also documented every asset Robert acquired using money from Chen Westfield Technologies. The vacation homes, the cars, Brandon's trust fund. All of it should have been partially yours." "Why are you doing this?" I asked Margaret. "He's your husband. Brandon's your son." Margaret's eyes filled with tears. "Because your mother was the only person who stood by me when I had nothing. 25 years ago, I was homeless too, Harper. Did you know that?" I shook my head. "Jennifer Chen found me sleeping in her office building's stairwell. Instead of calling security, she bought me breakfast. She helped me get cleaned up, helped me find a job. She became my best friend. When she and Robert started the company, she made me their first executive assistant. She gave me a life. And you married her business partner? I loved Robert once, Margaret said softly. Or I thought I did. Now I realize he saw me as another acquisition. But your mother? She loved unconditionally. And I will not let her memory be dishonored by these men. I will not let them profit from her death. David stood up. Ladies, we have work to do. Harper, I need you to write down everything you remember about your mother's illness, the business, and what happened after she died. Every detail, every conversation. Can you do that? I nodded. When do we confront them? Soon. David smiled. Very soon. 2 weeks later, I walked into Chen Westfield Technologies headquarters for the first time since my mother's funeral. David and Margaret flanked me, and 2 detectives followed behind. This is insane, Margaret. Robert Westfield's voice echoed across the lobby. You can't bring police into my building. It's not your building, Robert, Margaret said calmly. It never was. Brandon emerged from the elevator. What's she doing here? Gentlemen, Detective Rodriguez stepped forward. We have a warrant to search these premises and seize financial documents. This is harassment, Robert sputtered. My lawyers will... Your lawyers can meet us at the station, Detective Park interrupted. After we read you your rights. Rights? Brandon's voice cracked. For what? David opened his briefcase. Fraud, forgery, elder abuse, and theft. Should I continue? You have nothing, Robert said. But I heard the fear. Actually, I said, we have everything. Every forged document. Every recording of you and Brandon planning to destroy me. Brandon turned to his mother. Mom, you can't believe... I believe evidence, Brandon. Margaret cut him off. And I believe in justice for my best friend. Jennifer was using you, Robert shouted. She kept you around to do her dirty work. Jennifer saved my life, Margaret shouted back. And you stole from her while she was dying. I'm divorcing you, Robert, and I'm testifying against both of you. The lobby fell silent. Brandon, get the lawyer, Robert ordered. Your lawyer dropped you this morning, David said. Seems he doesn't appreciate being lied to about criminal activity. Detective Rodriguez stepped closer. Robert Westfield, Brandon Westfield. You're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. As they were handcuffed, Brandon started crying. Mom, please. I was just doing what Dad told me. You knew, I said quietly. I heard the recordings. You called me nobody. You said I couldn't touch you. I'm sorry. Please, Harper, I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't give me back my mother, I said. Sorry doesn't give me back the year I spent homeless. Robert glared at me. You'll never prove anything. We'll fight this for years. With what money? I asked. Margaret froze all your accounts this morning. The detectives led them away, Brandon still crying, Robert still threatening. Margaret put her arm around me. Your mother would be so proud. We're not done yet, David said. Now comes the fun part. 6 weeks later, I sat in David's conference room surrounded by documents. Margaret sat across from me, David at the head of the table. They've agreed to the settlement, David announced. Full restitution, all assets seized, and they've both pled guilty. What's the sentence? I asked. Robert gets 5 years. Brandon gets 2 years plus probation, David said. The judge was impressed by your victim impact statement. Margaret smiled. And the company? Chen Westfield Technologies has been restructured, David explained. Harper now owns 70%. Margaret, you own 30%, as Jennifer originally intended in her will. Jennifer wanted me to have part of the company? Margaret asked, surprised. I found the will, I said. My mother always planned to leave you a share. She never forgot what you did for her. Margaret wiped her eyes. She was the best person I've ever known. The board voted this morning to rename it Chen Technologies, David continued. The Westfield name is gone. How did Robert react? I asked. He sent a letter from jail, David said. I recommend not reading it. It's mostly threats. And Brandon? He's been calling me non-stop, Margaret sighed, begging for forgiveness, asking me to convince you to drop the charges. What did you tell him? I told him that forgiveness isn't mine to give, Margaret said. I told him he destroyed an innocent woman's daughter, and he needs to accept the consequences. He's my son, Harper. I love him, but I can't protect him from his own choices anymore. A knock interrupted us. David's assistant appeared. Ms. Chen, the reporters are here for your press conference. Press conference? I looked at David. Chen Technologies' new CEO should address the media, David said. CEO? I'm 22 years old. You're 22 with a business degree from Stanford and your mother's brilliant mind, Margaret said. Jennifer always said you'd run the company one day. At the press conference, a reporter asked, Ms. Chen, how does it feel to have your mother's company back? It feels like justice, I said, but it doesn't bring her back. What message do you have for others who've been defrauded? Another asked. Document everything. Find allies. Don't give up, I said. I lived in my car for 6 months. I had nothing, but I had the truth, and the truth won. Will you forgive Robert and Brandon Westfield? I paused. Forgiveness is personal, and I'm not there yet. Maybe I never will be, but that's okay. They're facing legal consequences. That's what matters. I'm not obligated to give them my forgiveness, too. What's next for Chen Technologies? We're establishing the Jennifer Chen Foundation, I explained. We'll help young people who've lost parents, especially those left homeless or vulnerable. Legal services, housing assistance, business mentorship. My mother believed in lifting others up. That's her legacy. After the conference, Margaret and I returned to David's office. He had champagne waiting. To Jennifer Chen, David raised his glass, a brilliant businesswoman and an even better human being. To my mother, I echoed, who taught me that dignity isn't about what you own. It's about who you are. What will you do now? Margaret asked. I'm buying a house, I said, a small one, and I'm filling the extra bedrooms with young people who need a safe place. People like I was 6 months ago. Your mother did the same for me, Margaret said softly. I know. She told me that story when I was little, I said. She said we're all one disaster away from needing help and one kind act away from giving it. She'd be incredibly proud, David said. And I have one more surprise. He handed me an envelope. This was in the safe deposit box we recovered. Your mother left it for you. My hands shook as I opened it. My dearest Harper, if you're reading this, something has gone wrong with the company. Margaret has instructions and evidence to help you fight. Trust her. She's family. You are stronger than you know, smarter than you believe, and braver than you think. Chen women don't give up. We fight. We persevere. We win. Build something beautiful with what I've left you. Help others the way I tried to help you. Be the light in someone else's darkness. All my love, always and forever. Mom. I couldn't stop the tears. Margaret held me while I cried. She knew, I said finally. She knew what Robert might do. Jennifer always saw people clearly, Margaret agreed. That evening, I unlocked my new apartment, the first place I could truly call home in over a year. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Former tech executive Robert Westfield begins prison sentence for defrauding partner's daughter. I smiled, not because I enjoyed his suffering, but because justice had been served. The next morning, I received a message from Brandon through his lawyer. Harper, I know you'll never forgive me. I don't deserve it. But I need you to know that I'm sorry. What we did was evil. I was greedy and cruel. I destroyed your life because I could. There's no excuse. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to become someone better than the person who laughed at you in that parking lot. I deleted it without responding. He was right. I would never forgive him. And that was okay. Forgiveness wasn't mandatory. Justice was enough. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? Have you ever had to fight to reclaim what was rightfully yours? What would you have done in my situation? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.